sometimes I'll come across really interesting UFO stories and nothing happens, and I don't report on it. Like, because now we're like 782 episodes in. If I read something about, I mean, listen, it really sucks if you're the slave under the planet, but if I have to find like a good narrative hook for it, sometimes that can be difficult. We could be thinking about something different, but could be different. Could be thinking about the same thing as well, but thanks for bringing that up. Fabio, Nurbon, longtime supporter of the show. How many maybe stories am I sitting on? And happy Thanksgiving as well. I have a bunch of stories. So I have all my folders, and I have the maybe section. And the maybe section is stuff that I've done all my research on. I have 160 stories in my maybe folder. I have all the research done, but for whatever reason, I haven't done it. Sometimes I just move them over here because I don't have any room. One of them was a dream, but some of them are just weird. Like, I think they're interesting at the time. This guy robbed a bank, and then he jumped over the counter and killed 5 people during the bank robbery. This happened back in 2002, and when he was during the trial, they go, hey, why did, you're robbing the bank, why did you jump over and kill 5 people? And he goes, the Smurf. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, there was a Smurf on the other side of the counter talking shit. And I was like, yo, shut up, Smurf. And in the trial, they go, wait, what are you talking about? And he's like, a Smurf, those little blue guys from the cartoons? Yeah, he was on the other side. So I jumped over and I shot everybody. I mean, it's a weird story, right? That's all that it was. So the stuff like that ends up in the maybe category. Maybe someday I'll cover it. But again, it was just like he was hallucinating. He was high on drugs. He thought a Smurf was talking trash, so he jumped the counter and he killed a bunch of people. Let me get the thanks again for the other donation there, Jonathan. Really appreciate it. And I see these other ones coming through as well. Let me go down here. 120. Thank you so much for the donation. That is amazingly generous. You guys are all getting in episodes, Carpenter Copter. I thought about, I was thinking the other day, I go, if I got sponsors for the show, they don't get to fly around the Carpenter Copter, right? It's so funny because when people donate to the show, that's what we do. We're like, hey man, fly around the Carpenter Copter and stuff like that. But then I thought, what if Burger King really did want to advertise? And they're like, dude, why is this guy flying the Carpenter Copter? We're the one. Hey, that's just the way the show goes. The listeners get to fly around the Carpenter Copter. Big Spite, good morning, Big Spite. Let's see here. And Lurk Score, happy Thanksgiving. I kind of missing some stuff here, but let's see. Sally says, have I ever checked out the YouTuber Lowfield and Love, making the case that serial killers are part of something much larger? And that's what Jonathan was saying earlier as well. There's actually a podcast out now. I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I read an article based on it. It's called The Clown and the Candyman. And what it does is it connects John Wayne Gacy to Dean Corll. John Wayne Gacy in Chicago, Dean Corll in Texas, and it says that there was a network of child molesting serial killers operating, and these two dudes knew each other. Interesting premise, right? You can't prove it, but yeah, I'm sure that there is at the very least a networking aspect to all of that stuff, and at the very most, it goes much higher than that. We talk about lame serial killers. I think I'm not a huge fan of the Zodiac killer, but Son of Sam, not a fan of his work either. But he always said it wasn't just me; it was a cult. It was this religious cult. Now we taking his word for it, but still, very, very interesting conspiracy theory. And he's the one who's saying that. Okay, yeah, I see where we're at now. I'm kind of moving down here because I was like, oh, I'm looking here and I go, oh, this is what must have been when I was talking about the news, because I'm seeing all of this political stuff. All this political stuff coming up there. Rudy Jazz commented, the moon's haunted. Missy says putting people on the moon was a massive waste of money. See, it's interesting. And and Missy saying that we put people up there because it's cool. The moon has. This used to be I used to have this trick that I would use on dates with girls if I was meeting them for the first or second time. I would always make this statement because I could tell whether or not we'd be a good fit. I'd say, I did this a couple times. I did this quite a few times actually. And I would say, do you know on the moon there's a, it's been a while since I used it, so you'll have to give me a second, but we'd be out to dinner or something like that. And I say, you know on the moon there is an element called hydrogen-3. And it's basically what we would consider almost magic here on Earth. It's rare here, but on the moon, there's tons of it. There's literal tons of it. And with hydrogen-3, if you had one space shuttle full of hydrogen-3, you brought it back down to Earth, you could power the entire United States for 1 year. The entire country, 1 year, with one shuttle full of hydrogen-3. That's why we need to go up there, to mine it. And then I would just let it sit there for a second. And depending on the girl's reaction, I could tell whether or not we were going to have any fun in each other's company. Because sometimes they'd go, whoa, that's so fascinating, but like, how would we go about mining it? Like, and then sometimes they'd go, well, that's great and all, but I don't think we should mine the moon. I don't think, the moon. I remember one girl, she kind of went off and she's like, the moon is the only untouched resource around and we shouldn't be up there strip mining it. But then both those answers were fine, but then you'd have the girls who would just go, oh, that's interesting, and then change the subject, or you could almost see their eyes glaze over, and it was a test to be able to, basically it was testing comprehension and imagination, because it's an evocative question. Strip mining the moon for the cleanest fuel possible, right? The hydrogen-3 is nothing short of a miracle fuel. So if the girl would respond, she could be against the plan, that's totally fine, but if she can conceptualize it and imagine it, and that was a gimmick that I used all the time. I always used to have two watches, one on this hand, one on this hand. This one was always the right time. This one was always, say, 5 minutes early. And so that way, like if I was at work and I wanted to leave work early, I'd be like, dude, it's 12:05. It's time for me to go. Because I leave at noon apparently. All right, go and look at it's 12 and it's really 11:55. It allowed me to kind of sneak out. And then I had the clocks in my house set to different times as well. Generally, the clock in my apartment was 30 minutes behind. Probably shouldn't be revealing all this information. The clocks on my watch, this one was right. This one was 5 minutes early. This one might have actually been, this one was 5 minutes ahead, and this one was 5 minutes early. So if I wanted to be like, come on guys, we got to go look at it, it's already 12:05, I can get people moving. This one, if I wanted to leave early, and then between the two, I knew what time it was. The clocks in my house, I had this big clock on my wall in my living room, it was a half hour early. So when girls would come over and they're like, hey dude, I got to go, I got work tomorrow. I was like, what do you mean you got to go? Look at it. It's only 9:30. You don't have to leave yet. And then so many times, this was before the era of cell phones, so you just kind of had to take my word for it. So many times you get phone calls, they'd get home, they'd stay, they'd get in their car, they'd drive home, it'd be 11 p.m. And they're like, Jason, you idiot, I have to work tomorrow. They probably all thought they were abducted by aliens or something. They're like, why am I losing so much time? So funny. So yeah, master of time, master of space. That is me. I can't wait to look down and see what those comments say. Thank you. Yeah, Jonathan, it's funny. The show is really popular, like on YouTube. It's like I have 10, which I'm really happy. I got 10,000 subs, and I usually get maybe. It's so weird. I've never bought subs. I looked at it, but I figured it was counterintuitive. I have 10,000 subs, and each video gets about 600 views. So you go, well, how come? It's so weird. But then I remember I'm subbed to a bunch of stuff that I never watch. The podcast is literally, it's really big. It's one of the biggest. It's like in the top 5 paranormal podcasts in the world. Like like the podcast side of it is doing phenomenal, but I love the YouTube side. We get to talk to each other, so I'm glad we were able to do both. Yes, Allison. Yeah, you definitely you'll get in there. You'll get into the Carpenter Copter in the future, and made a request. Nothing gross. That is always the thing. And sometimes I haven't run into a real problem with it yet. Spiritual, thank you so much for that donation. Really, really appreciate it. Get you in the Carpenter Copter as well. I haven't had a problem with it yet. I've always worried that I'll have someone on the show, they'll do segments, and it won't even be gross. It'll just be like normal stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, like that actually is like super against my religion or something like that." No, that hasn't happened yet, but we try. I don't try to do that. I'm not looking. I'm not looking for it. Jonathan asks what my favorite burger chain is. It's not Burger King. I'd have to say it's Carl's Jr. But the best chain would be Chipotle. Let's see here. Allison's Wake asked if I was currently single, asking for a friend. You know, it's funny. I've talked about this on the Patreon. I don't think I've talked about it on the show. I remember when the nerd culture first started. I just finally got that. 120 put Happy Thick Gosling, and I just figured that was gibberish. It's supposed to be Happy Thanksgiving. So now that I just got that, it's just been sitting there. I used to, when I first got into nerd culture, when it started off on YouTube, like this is back in the day, right? When I was like, whoa, nerds, there's more than just me. I started watching like YouTube stuff, and there's websites like Topless Robot and Kotaku, when these websites were like first starting off crack. I was like, whoa, nerds are totally awesome, we rock. And I'm watching all these videos and people are reviewing movies and video games, NES video games. I was kind of all caught up in that because I thought that was just me. And I remember, so I'd drive me up the wall. I'd be reading an article, some guys writing about NES video games, or I'm watching YouTube and this guy's talking about, video games, comic books, whatever, and they would constantly talk about their girlfriends. Every article, when me and my girlfriend are watching this game, or me and my girlfriend were sitting back, or me and my girlfriend, and I remember thinking, I get it, bro, you got a girlfriend, you don't have to convince, because we're all nerds. This was back before before you started having like companies come in and build fake nerd stuff and hiring all these nerds. This guy who's writing this article is just like me, and I'm like, listen, dude, I get it, you have a girlfriend, like, you don't have to bring it up every paragraph. And I get it, because nerds used to not have girlfriends, so they were super proud. Like, me and my wife were playing with Legos the other night. So that happened so much, I made a vow. I didn't have a YouTube channel, I didn't have a podcast, I never even thought about those, but I made a vow. 18th time on a Topless Robot article, when I heard about the author's girlfriend, I made a vow. I will not release my relationship status. I will not constantly be saying, well, me and my girlfriend the other day were chasing ghosts, or me, I hate it. You get it. You have a girlfriend. Here's the thing, I don't mind them having girlfriends. It's not like I'm jealous. I don't mind them having girlfriends. I knew that they were saying it because for the first time in their lives, they had a girlfriend. They were super proud of it. I just want to read about Magic the Gathering cards. We've all had girlfriends at this point. I don't know why but anyways, so to answer that question, no, I won't. I just won't go into it, because then I feel like I would become that which I hated so much. A nerd who's constantly talking about his girlfriend. There we go. I hope that answered the question, Allison's weight. Probably didn't. Probably just made everything super suspicious. Sali asked Jason, you give Tony Podesta the benefit of the doubt with the weird art. Here's the thing, when I talk about weird arts, I'm talking about trapeze artists and really bad comedies. If you have paintings of children in your house, your guests should be calling you out on that. That was the thing, like Tony Podesta had paintings in his house that were disgusting. They were disgusting, and I don't understand why other guests. Listen, if you walk into someone's house and they have a statue of David and that dude is sitting there with his genitals hanging out, I'm not saying you gotta like put a leaf over that. But if you got like some gross painting with some kids, right? I don't understand why other people come in the house and are being like, "Yo, Tony, take that down. That's gross." Why they're not calling that stuff. So here's the thing. He could easily go, "Oh, no, it's just art. It's this famous artist and he's edgy." Whatever. You don't got to hang that in your house. If you want to buy that and invest in it or something. And here's the thing. You have the right to hang that in your house. And I have the right to go, gross. Does it show he has a higher level of complicity in all these other things? It's not good. It would be the equivalent of if people suspected that I was a bank robber. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not a bank robber. And my wallpaper wore $100 bills. You'd be like, maybe you're not a bank robber, but that's kind of making you look like a bank robber. El Pato, you've never heard that about estrogen being in the water? Yeah, that's because it's, and again, some people say that it's a movement to do this on purpose, and then other people go, no, it's just what happens when birth control is widely available, and your body has to get rid of it some way. I mean, if you eat too much artichokes, right, or whatever those things are, the big long sticks, artichokes, your pee smells like artichokes. It actually smells like burning rubber. I thought I had ball cancer the first time that happened to me. I was eating artichokes. What are the things? What are those things called? The long... Anyways, I was eating those, and I was at a potluck or something. I never would have ordered them on my own, but I was hungry. And then I think it was maybe 8 hours later, I was peeing, and I thought my testicles were about to fall off. It was the worst smell. It smelled like vulcanized rubber coming out of a human body. I like stopped midstream and Googled it. I was like, what is wrong with my body? This is the worst thing ever. Church Going Mule, thank you for that other donation. Get you back in the Carpenter Copter as well. Let's see here. Yeah, and Allison, that's kind of what I'm figuring. I'm kind of figuring that it's probably not a ton to do. The estrogen level is probably not super big to do. You have a good one, Church Going Mule. Church Going Mule is jumping off the chat and still hanging out here. Let's see here. MewTube, thanks for joining us. And they've said, Jason, you've talked in some of your previous episodes about your occult past. Any good stories about your experiences? I'm thinking about doing there's a lot of little things that I've done that I might just put into one episode, because it's one of those things, like I was like, yeah, I was at a journalism conference and I opened a portal in a hotel room and then I left it open. You're like, it's just weird stories. I was mucking about with stuff and I thought I knew everything, and I opened up this portal. I don't remember the hotel. I mean, this is some basic record-keeping stuff, right? That I should have remembered, but it's so funny because back then it was like, dum-da-dum-da-dum. I'm ripping through reality. I mean, how much of it was real, too, right? You have to wonder, like, astrally projection, how much of it is, waking, sleeping. But I was just messing around with stuff. So we might put all of that into an episode. But a lot of, and this is kind of indicative of, you can tell when a story is true or not by this isn't always the case, but one of the gauges I use for whether or not a story is true or not is how it ends, or does it have an ending? Because in real life, sometimes I did that story where the dog walked and it blocked mine and my buddy Steve's car. We couldn't go anywhere for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. This dog would not let us drive, and then he got on our car and was just looking at us. We couldn't go anywhere. And that's the end of the story. If it had ended, and then we drove down, and 20 miles away from where we were, there was a horrible car accident. Every car was piled up, and then the dog winked. The dog was like, we saved you. Then you're like, okay, the story's fake. But sometimes stories just happen. They don't really have an ending, which I find pretty interesting. Nikolai, thanks for joining us. See you in the chat. Really appreciate that. Let's see here. I got some more. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? So I wanted to talk about this too. Spiritual Abortion sent in their Earth First. They sent in their clip. So did you guys get? Have you guys heard that episode yet? So we are going to do, and Rudy, I'm sorry, just getting all these here. All of these donations. And let's see here. Shazli. Thank you so much for the donation. And Black Dragon, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Johnny Thunder, these are great. And yeah, you guys are going to be in that Carpenter Copter. Really appreciate it so much. So much. Thank you. Where we were up here. Let's see here. What were we talking? Oh, so, you know, I've seen this pop up twice now about Gigi Allen. Soupy Gatto, and someone else had mentioned it earlier that Gigi Allen hung out with John Wayne Gacy. Was he in? I'm assuming he was in prison at that point. I'm assuming he. But no. Thank you. I just looked down. Soupy Gatto was talking about that Earth First chant. Yeah, that's what we were going to talk about. But we'll talk about Gigi Allen too. The Earth First, Spiritual Abortion sent in the Earth First. And it's really cool. I'm glad you guys are doing that. I asked, I said, hey, can you do it in your native language as well? And he did. And so we might, and it sounded cool both ways. That would be kind of cool to have people do it in Spanish too, in different languages and things like that. But yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. I've been getting a couple of those. So if you guys haven't sent that in yet and you guys want to be on that mega mix of Dead Rabbit Radio, Spiritual Abortion was wondering about the technical side of it, of how many people are going to submit and how we're going to do it. And that'll be cool. That'll be really cool. We'll get that done. It'll be a lot of fun. So hope you guys are going to do that. Gigi Allen, he's an interesting fellow. That's putting it mildly. I was aware of him vaguely because I kind of hung out with people who were into Gigi Allen. Then I watched that documentary directed by Todd Phillips, the guy who did Joker. Started off making this documentary. If you guys haven't seen Hated, it's a really good documentary. It's not one of the best I've seen, but I enjoyed it. And it definitely was a guy that I didn't know. He talks fine. His music, you can't understand what he's saying, but every so often he's like talking about his lyrics and it like makes sense. Talking about what he's going through. I didn't know. It wouldn't make sense though for that guy to, maybe I was vaguely aware that he met him in prison, but I'm not for sure there. Let's see. The chant was just Soupy Gatto. Earth First. And then Jonathan says deserving many more viewers. I'm happy for the viewers I got. I do want more, obviously, because I think this show's beneficial. I think people have fun listening to the show, and I think people feel like they're a part of something, and they are a part of something. It's not just appealing. So yeah, I want more people to listen to it. But I'm not hating on the YouTube audience. Is difficult because it's not video. Just until recently, we're adding in the driving footage. Like if you want, when I watch YouTube, I'm not watching anything. I'm playing Creeper World 4 or Minecraft or Elements, the card game, or something else, some other cheapo game that I really love and seek content. So I'm doing that. But a lot of people want to watch it, and so when you have like Wendy Goon puts out content and he's kind of going through all this stuff, Wendy Goon could easily take his content and turn it into a podcast, just upload that audio. It's a lot harder to take audio and put it into video. Before we were doing the thumbnail, and now we're doing the drive-in at night thing, but still viewership. I'm on a video platform. The podcast is huge. Like I never really even am concerned about the podcast growth, because that just grows month after month. But yeah, the YouTube, it looks weird. But yeah, don't worry. I mean, definitely, guys, still get the word out. Still get the word out about the show, because there are things that there's different bubbles. Like in the podcast world, the show's a huge hit. On the YouTube world, it's not, because there's competition with, I'm competing with video. But there are stories that I want to cover, and I saw someone kind of leave a question like this, kind of on this level as well. But there are things that I want to cover that I can't because I would get taken down. And it's funny because they're not even super, it's not like I want to finally expose the vaccine or something like that. I'm talking about, like, there are stories that I know legally. Like, if I covered this story, the chance of me getting sued by a private individual is higher. I'm not worried about some big conspiracy theory that YouTube's going to shut down. And I can't, because I can't tank that lawsuit. If I had 100,000 listeners, it would be easier for me to have, then at that point I'd have a lawyer and stuff like that, and I could probably cover these lawsuits. So there are things that I would like to cover that I can't, because I just couldn't take the lawsuit. So that should be, I mean, there are a lot of, you have the stories that I've researched, and then you have stories that I've just come across through being alive that I still would like to talk about, but yeah, I just can't really do anything right now. Looking through here. Yeah, Historical Hiker says can't leave comments on Stitcher. There's not a lot of places for people to leave comments on. And things like that, so that does make it a little difficult. But we do have the YouTube thing. That's definitely, and yeah, I do. And going, here's another. Oh, here, just the guy says when they get to the Carpenter Copter, not if, but when they get to the Carpenter Copter, they want to make sure that it is not. I don't want to spell your name. How do I misspell just the guy? They want to make sure it is something gross. It is something. And Salia wants Boy Urine Egg City. All that stuff is so weird. Let's see here. Why do countries exist has a conspiracy theory. Jason won't tell us his relationship status, so he can continue to appeal to those who watch him just for his looks. No, dude, it's so funny because that bugged me all the time. I remember, and it happened in every single article. I'm like, we get it. You have a girlfriend. Just tell me about Optimus Prime. And no, so yeah, unfortunately. I was, wait, did I say that already? I think I started that, but then it kind of just went nowhere. George Patton says that my heart belongs to Sabine. Sabine, you know, Sabine is a good person. Let's see here. Sorry, just taking a look here. Oh, thank you, Turtle Bandit. Get you in that Carpenter Copter. Have you ever thought about making a compilation of all your previous personal stories into one episode? That's an interesting question. I should at the very least, I think I started it, I should have at the very least made a playlist, right? A personal episode playlist would be awesome. It's funny because talk about the growth of the show. There's stuff I want to do, and I think this would be pretty awesome. No, Short Circuit. We're probably going to be wrapping up soon, but I think you're here in time. You're here in time. I think that it would be awesome to do. Tell me what you guys think about this. Because I'm poor, right? Not after today. Not after today. But I would like to do. Bear with me here. Interns, right? Everyone's favorite form of free labor. And I thought, wouldn't it be awesome? Like, what would I have to do so if you were in college or high school that you could get credits by working for me? Like, is that a thing? That's what an intern is, right? Where I could be like, hey, how would you like to help me out on my podcast? Hey, Creole, happy Turkey Day. Thank you. How would we be able to get free labor? Because there's stuff that I want to do. We have a Dead Rabbit wiki that isn't really going anywhere. We tried doing one on the Discord, and the person who started it ended their Discord, not ended their Patreon. Like, they disappeared. Discord no longer has them registered. And so I started one. I don't have time to do it. The compilation episodes. Someone, I hate forgetting people's names because you guys mean a lot to me, but someone messaged me the other day and said, you should have something on your website that it will play a random episode. You can click a button and it will randomly play a Dead Rabbit Radio episode. And I go, oh, that's great. I can't do that. Have you guys ever gone to deadrabbit.com? It is straight out of deadrabbit.com takes you to my cover page, which has like a YouTube link and a podcast link and some other links to my flyers. I did it in HTML. It's like on a Wix. It's like on a Wix. Fabio, it was Fabio who said that. You're right, Fabio. It was you that said that. Yeah, like we'll have my flyers, but I gotta put more of these up. But yeah, so it is. It would be cool to have. See, the thing is, like, it's hard to have people do stuff for free. But if their grades were dependent on it, then maybe they would work. But if you guys just want to help put together that Wikipedia, that would be great. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Yeah, and so that's the thing, like with Nick, and so that's the thing. He goes, well, I have a full-time job. Could you, like, it wouldn't be fair to just be like, you can only do free stuff if you're in college or high school. So it would just be fun to have those little things, because I'm at like that level where it goes. I don't have time to do other things, but there's other stuff that needs to be done. No, it doesn't need to be done, but I think Wikipedia would be nice, or a wiki would be nice, especially because a lot of times people go, when did you do that story about that guy crawling around the mud in Utah? And I can go to deadrabbit.com and then click on the podcast link, and I can type in, mud crawler to pull up an episode. But then someone recently on the Discord said, where's the episode where Jason was talking about hippie aliens and how much he hates hippie aliens? And that one was a little bit harder to find. We couldn't really pull that one up. So yeah. But yeah, so let's see here. Oh, okay. I think Johnny Thunder, is that you who was saying that was your the Wikipedia? Yeah, I have one set up on like famdom.com, so we don't have to host it anywhere or anything like that. But yeah. And then Master of Ellipsis, yes, thank you. I'm glad that you were able to stop by. That's pretty awesome. Sorry, yeah, I'm just trying to. And then Supi Gatto said they also used to do a podcast, and yeah, we'll figure something out, because at the same time, like, I think, podcasting's difficult, and if you guys are looking at getting into it, it would be have a cool place to start off. But I wouldn't recommend. Hey, have a good one, Turtle Bandit. Thanks again for your donation, and thanks for dropping off. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I don't know. This is the point. I've been staring at myself now for 2 hours, and I'm actually surprised I've been able to stare at myself for so long. My brain's starting to go, and everything's happening in the chat so quickly as well. But yeah, and then there was something else. So I did have my little notes of stuff to talk about real quick. We talked about movie night. That was it. That was actually everything. This was my notes on my poopy paper that my mom got me, this poopy paper back in 2011, and I still have some. My notes were movie night, internship, Wiki, wanted to talk about that, and then, you know what, before we go, we got a couple minutes left. Yeah, I want to do a Dead Rabbit movie night, but we'll figure it out. How about... This is how we're going to end this. This is how we're going to end our Thanksgiving live stream. Give me a noun. Hey, what's up, Root Snoot? Can I have a noun? Can someone give me a noun? Let's see if this works. This is my elbow. Okay, and for a plural noun, we'll use dogs. And then for another noun, we'll use jelly. Can I get another plural noun? Desecration. What? That's not a... How? We'll use a phone. We'll use phones. Okay, another plural noun, we'll use turkeys. And then colons. No, that's okay, spiritual. I want desecration to be on here somewhere, honestly. Subwoofers. Thanks again, Jonathan. Turduckens, we'll use that one. Okay, now I need an adjective. We'll do swiftly. Okay, and then another plural noun. Crunchy. We already got desecrated. Okay. Highways. And then an adjective. I'm gonna use slimy. I like that one. I need 3 more nouns. But we'll use Mad Libs. Bigfoots. And then the last one is going to be farts, because you always have to have farts in a Mad Lib. Okay, here we go. This is what Dead Rabbit Radio has become. It's become Mad Libs, Daffy-nitions. But listen, this is the Night of the Living Mad Libs. I got this for my birthday last year. I got it from Sabine. Okay. A ghost is supposed to be the spirit of a dead elbow. This is all I'll put on the podcast today. None of the rest of the stuff. A ghost is supposed to be the spirit of a dead elbow. Most ghosts appear as white dogs floating in the jelly. Ghosts are known to haunt phones. Gargoyles are carved turkeys with hideous faces and colons. The most famous gargoyles are on top of Notre Dame subwoofer. In medieval times, they were believed to ward off evil turduckens. A ghoul in Asian folklore is a swift spirit that desecrates graves. Oh, that works. And feeds on the highways of the dead. A goblin is believed to be a slimy fiend with misshapen Mad Libs. Like all wicked Bigfoots, they delight in scaring the farts out of you. See, this is what the collective work. This is what we can do. United as one. As one, we can create our own Mad Libs. I think Bigfoot would scare the farts out of you. Like all wicked Bigfoots, they delight in scaring the farts out of you. Creole Cosmopolitan. Let's take a look here. Thank you so much for the donation. You will get in the Carpenter Copter. I don't know about the Christmas episode. I don't know if I can plan that far ahead, but I do want to see. Let me scroll this down. Christmas episode, I'll write that down. But Chinese apocalypse of the Australian coal conspiracy. I have not heard of that. I'll look it up. I know that Australia and China, they got a lot of beef with each other. That would be interesting. That'd be interesting to look up if they think they're trying to sink their industry. Awesome. James, thank you for the compliment. Thanks for stopping by. And guys, I think we're going to end it there. 2 hours of awesomeness. Awesome Thanksgiving. Amazing donations. All of you guys are going to be flying in that Carpenter Copter who've donated. And I hope everyone had fun with our Mad Libs. That was fun. Love you guys too, Jonathan. Love you, Sephora. Why do countries exist? All you guys, Khaki Cube, Allison, Rudy, Jazz. I know you're going to be popping up here. Thank you so much, guys. What an amazing live stream. So much. It did fly by. Historical Hiker. Yeah, 2 hours really did fly by. Yeah, Johnny, I'll eat some turkey. I hope you guys eat some turkey too. Nick, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. Thank you. You guys made this a really cool. We talked a lot about kids, pedophile stuff. I'm not a fan of that, but everything else has been super fun, and you guys have a great night. And remember, Earth first. Send me those audio clips. That'll be great. I love you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a great weekend.